What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. We got the playoffs, MLB, more specifically the World Series is set. The Houston Astros swept the New York Yankees in the ALCS, so they will be heading to the World Series for the second straight year, the third time in the last 4 years, and the fourth time in the last 6 years. They will be facing the Philadelphia Phillies, the 87-win Phillies. The last spot in the National League. What a Cinderella run they are on. They come out of the National League this year. What a shock. So World Series is set. But I have to rip on the Yankees. Swept? Wow. Swept. Damn. By the way, this is my message to Luis Severino. Shut up. Okay, Luis Severino? Shut up. Also, because the roof was open? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Because the roof was open. Because the roof was open. You got lucky? Is it lucky that you struck out 30 times in the game? Or like every single game, it seemed like? Was that lucky? Good, give me a freaking break. You got lucky? Shut up, Luis. You hear me? Shut up. Okay, just shut up. You are pathetic. Honestly, he represents the Yankees perfectly. Always bitching and complaining about something. Shut up. Are you kidding me? Every single team who plays in Houston has to deal with it. The Astros deal with it, probably 90 times a year. Not one complaint. Every single team that plays in their stadium, not one complaint. But Luis Severino actually pitched like crap and got lit up by the Astros I believe it was game 2. He complained about it. Dude, shut the hell up, okay? You are a complete bitch, dude. Shut up and go home. Go play golf with the Mets. Please do. Go away, dude. Please. No one likes you, dude. I think I wrote this Chapman before the playoffs, not showing up to a mandatory team workout because his spot wasn't being guaranteed on the playoff roster. Well, I wrote this. There's a reason for that. Because you suck. You're washed and you're done. You pitched like crap this year. You're like over 5 or close to 5. You were freaking terrible this year. You also closed your job to Clay Holmes, who came into this year off like a 4.5 career ERA with the freaking Pirates. Like, you're not good. And you get paid like 17 or 18 million a year. At least show up to a freaking mandatory workout. Like, that's just pathetic. And then Aaron Boone thought the same thing about the roof. Like, dude, shut up. Why you still have a job? He's got to go. He was handed a World Series caliber team. He's been here 5 seasons. He hasn't even gone to the World Series. I'll give him a pass in 2017. Astros were cheating. 2018, that Boston team was a great team. They were cheating a little bit as well. But like 2019, what is your excuse? Houston was an excellent team. They had 107 wins. Probably should beat the Nationals that year in the World Series. But what is your excuse for that? You just got outplayed. You lose in 6. Chapman gives up a bomb to Jose Altuve, an iconic home run, iconic call by Joe Buck. 2020, you didn't even win the division. You lose to a team in the Rays in the division series, who although beat you out for the division, you should have won that series. You have a game-winning, go-ahead home run to Mike Brusau, who is not a good hitter, and he hit it off Chapman, who gets payback for when Chapman threw out his head earlier that year. 2021, you barely made the playoff by the skin of your teeth. You need like a 17 or 18 game win streak to get that last wildcard spot over the Seattle Mariners, who haven't made the playoffs in decades, it seems like, by 1 game. And then you lose to the Boston Red Sox, who you probably should have beaten in the wildcard game. Garrett Cole, you paid $324 million, went 2 whole freaking innings in that game. And this year, on July 7th, they had the best record in baseball. They had like a 17.5 game lead for the American League East. And they are on pace to break the record for the most wins in a season ever. From July 8th on, they were 38-40. They were a below-average team after July 8th. They barely won. They won the division by 7 games or something like that. They beat Toronto by 7 games. I'm playing with 17.5. And Toronto, they had a good year, but they had 92 wins and then got swept in the wildcard round at home. That team's not really scaring me right now. And you need like a 7 or 8 game win streak in September just to make sure you kept the division. At one point, though, like the Rays got within like 4.5 games of you. You almost blew the division. Like, yes, like, the Mets did choke the division. They absolutely did. They got swept by Atlanta, and they even got swept by the Cubs in September. That can't be happening. Also, the Braves have the second best record in baseball besides the 111-win Dodgers. Like after, like, the first week, go from, like, June 7th or June 8th on. They won 101 games. It's only 2 more than the Yankees, but also, like, the Mets competition with the Braves who had 101 wins. They were maybe the best team in baseball after June. The Yankees, like, the Blue Jays had 92 wins. They weren't scaring anybody. The Braves were. The Mets honestly were pretty consistent the whole year. When DeGrom and Scherzer were out, at one point they were not playing as well as they were before they lost Scherzer in May. They're still one of the better teams in the league, and then once they got him back, then they got back on their roll, and then they ended up kind of struggling in the last month. Also, the Braves play out of their mind. The Yankees did not play well the last 2.5 or 3 months of the season. Like, Toronto was played well. They were definitely one of the better teams in the league, but they were not playing out of their mind. And this guy Boone, he mismanages the bullpen more than I've ever seen. He does not make good lineups. He's got Aaron Judge hitting leadoff a bunch. Like, why? I don't understand. That is analytical BS. Now he's got Gleyber Torres. I understand DJ LeMay, who's your leadoff guy, is out. But Gleyber Torres hitting leadoff? Are you kidding me? That also makes no freaking sense. It makes no sense. People say, with the bullpens, it's not really him. It's, the guys upstairs now. Like, yes, analytics plays a part of it, but, like, as a manager, you have to be able to, juggle, the analytics and just, going with your gut. That's why I think Buck Showalter had a lot of success in the regular season with the Mets. As well as Dusty Baker of the Houston Astros. Why these two guys, even though they're guys who are, in their upper 60s, they're both, creeping towards 70 years old. They've been managing it in this league for probably 30 years. And, they both, were out of baseball for a few years before getting their current job. Buck Showalter's last year managing in the league before he got the Mets job this year was with the Orioles in 2018, and Dusty Baker was hired in the pandemic year. His last year with the Nationals, I think, was like 2017. So they were both out of the league for like 3 or 4 years, and the game definitely changed a lot in that span. Because although they're old school managers, they're able to perfectly complement. They definitely go with their gut all the time and don't always use analytics, but they also use analytics a little bit, but then they juggle it perfectly. That's why Tony La Russa did not work with the White Sox, because he he either would just throw his old school approach that got him 3 rings and the third most wins all time out the window and would go full analytics, or he would just completely ignore it and just try trust his 77-year-old brain, which of course is not going to work all the time. But Dusty Baker and Buck Showalter both juggle it perfectly. Aaron Boone, when it comes to his bullpen, I feel like he just calls his analytics. I was like, what do you think? I was like, so it's lefty on lefty, the 56% chance the guy gets out. So go with this. He's like, okay, fine. And then it doesn't work, and he wonders why. You gotta be able to juggle that, and he doesn't do a good enough job. He doesn't make his lineups. I see them; they're not that good. His in-game decision making is terrible. Also, he was handled a World Series team in 2018, and they haven't even got to the World Series. Congratulations for always getting to the playoff. That really doesn't matter with the team that you have. You should have at least gotten to the World Series at least once. You should probably have a ring by now, and you don't. Honestly, Cashman, he should go as well. I know at the trade deadline he did a pretty good job this year. He got Scott Alford from the Cubs to boost their bullpen. That was a good move. It was a good move to get Benintendi. It's not Cashman's fault or Boone's fault or anyone's fault. That's on Benintendi for getting injured. He played very well when he was healthy. The Montas Trevino trade, good on him for taking a chance on Trevino, who was horrible to A's, and he pitched very well. His year went from 6.5 to 4.5 with the A's, and then with the Yankees. But Frankie Montas was not that good. He did not pitch well for you guys. He did not pitch well for the Yankees at all. The last trade deadline, good move getting Anthony Rizzo. That was a good move. He's been real solid for you. But he gave up 4 prospects for Joey Gallo, who's maybe the worst player in the league. when he was with the Yankees. Dude was horrible. And like his off-season move has not been good enough. I mean, the Stanton trade is a complete failure. He can give up a lot for him, but he's paying this guy $25 million a year. Took on his whole contract. The guy, he's been good. He's got I think 140 home a year under his belt. He's had some big hits in the playoffs here and there, but he's always hurt. He has not been the same player he was in Miami. I'm not expecting him to have 57, 130 like he did in his MVP year in his last year in Miami. I think that was 2017. But just, if the best he can do is like 40 and 100 while striking out 200 times and missing 40 games a year, like that's not good enough, especially for what he's being paid. He has been a disappointment. That should be Cashman's biggest failure, maybe of his tenure with the Yankees. And by the way, Garrett Cole, great pitcher, not worth $324 million. No, absolutely not. No, in no way should perform. Absolutely not. He has not been that good in the playoffs with the Yankees. He just hasn't been. In 2020, was very mid. In the wildcard game 2 years ago, was terrible. Did pitch pretty well in the division series in his 2 starts, but in Game 3, he did not pitch well. Overall, he's been very mediocre in the playoffs. And, even the regular season, 2020, he was okay. All right, that was the pandemic year. He threw a lot of innings that year, especially, with the World Series run. I'll give him a slight pass there. But 2021, he did have a very good regular season. But before they started cracking down on the sticky stuff, he was probably the best pitcher in the league. At least in the American League. And then they start cracking down. His ERA ends up at 3.2, which is still really good. He finished third in the Cy Young voting. But he was not the same pitcher without the Spire attack. And this year, he wasn't even their ace this year. Nestor Cortez, people don't realize, Nestor Cortez was their ace. He had an ERA of 3.5, which is very good. But for the second highest paid starting pitcher in the league, that's not really that good. I'm sorry, this isn't. Cortez had a great year, like an ERA of 2.4, 2.6, which is incredible. But I thought it was pretty clear. Nestor Cortez was the better arm for the Yankees this year. He has not been worth $36 million a year. He just hasn't been. Not at all. And his press conference, I had some good swings today. I tried my best. Try your best? You got 5 home runs, dude. He's so weird. Through 4 innings, he'll be untouchable. In the 5th inning comes around, he gets up 3 home runs. What the hell happened? He's not an ace. I'm sorry. That's a hot thing. I'm not even sure if he's an ace anymore. I don't know. Aaron Boone press conference are even worse. Oh yeah, they put some good swings on us. Put some good swings on you? You're playing the freaking Rays! They average 3 runs a game! The Yankees need to restore their this amazing franchise that they have, and they do have one. They've won 27 freaking champions, for crying out loud. More than anyone ever by a large margin in any sport. They're a joke now, so go ahead, Yankees. Go play golf with the Mets. I could care less. Goodbye. See ya. Swept. Wow. That's pretty bad. That's my rant on the Yankees. World Series starts Friday. Astros, Phillies. As for the hockey front, scores from last night. Of course, NHL just getting underway. By the way, this is the best time for sports. You got NHL is starting up. Basketball is starting up. The baseball's in the playoffs. Of course, the World Series is starting. Football's in full swing. College and NFL. This is just the golden age of sports here in October. Gotta love it. September and October. Gotta love it. Last time in the NHL, you had Capitals over the Devils 6-3. Senators over the Stars 4-2. Senators, they're looking good. They had a big offseason. I think they might make the playoffs here. They're looking good. Jets shut out the Blues 4-0. Oilers over the Penguins 6-3. Golden Knights over the Maple Leafs 3-1. Leafs did not look. They did not have a good offseason. They're in some trouble. And the Hurricanes over the Canucks 3-2. Taking a look at the standings so far, Bruins look good. They're 5-1. I like what my Rangers are doing. The record on paper 3-2-1 isn't blowing anybody away. The 2 games they lost were their 2 regulation losses. They had their backup goalie. You also have Locke struggling in both those games, but when they've had Igor Shesterkin, Igor's looked. He had 1 game where you up 4 goals. After that, he's looked like Igor, and Panarin looked like Panarin. Mika looks fantastic. All the older stars, Fox, Kreider are showing up. And the Rangers need some of these young guys to step up. They lose a couple of veterans. You lose Ryan Strome. You lose Andrew Kopp. You lose Frank Vetrano. You drew bringing in Vincent Trocheck was a good pickup, but you lose 3 guys. You need these young guys, Lafreniere, Hedel, Kako, these step up, and those three kids, Lafreniere, Kako, and Hedel, they're definitely stepping up. Good sign, which is a good sign. Penguins look good for 1-1. Some of those are 4-2. Teams that don't look good. Lightning, they look slow. 3-3. They look slow. They did lose some pieces. You lose McDonough, you trade away. He was still a very good defenseman. He was a top 4D man. You lose Andre Palat. He goes to the Devils. But you still got your core. You still got Nikita Kucherov. You still got Steven Stamkos. You still got Braden Point. You re-signed Anthony Cirelli. You re-signed Eric Cernak. You re-signed Nick Paul, who's a big trade deadline pickup. You still got all these guys. You still got Mikhail Sergachev. You still got Victor Hedman. You still got Andrei Vasilevsky, the best goalie in the world. You got John Cooper, probably the best head coach in the world in the NHL. It should still be a top team. Right now, they don't quite look like that. And by the way, the Islanders, not a good team. 2-4. I'm telling you right now, not good. They're very, very mediocre. As for the NBA, of course, also getting started. We get the scores from last night. We had the Bulls over the Celtics 120-102. So Boston loses their first game of the season. We had the Raptors over the Heat 98-90. Sixers over the Pacers 120-106. Sixers finally getting the win column. Knicks over the Magic 115-102. Rockets over the Jazz 114-108. Had Jalen Green and Jabari Smith, their lottery picks from each of the last 2 seasons, got a little bit of org around the bench, so hopefully that is able to be resolved. You got the Bulls over the Celtics, 120-102. Grizzlies over the Nets, 134-124. That was an incredible game. Ja and Desmond Bane each had 38. Desmond Bane shot 8 threes, and KD and Kyrie each shot 37. But Ben Simmons, he is garbage. He has just 17 points in 3 games. He has 14 fouls in 3 games. He has fouled out in 2 of 3 games. The dude is not good. I'm sorry. He just isn't. Spurs over the Timberwolves 115-106. And Trailblazers over the Nuggets 135-110. Now for the college football scores from last week. Number 2 Ohio State beats Iowa 54-10. Didn't have much of a problem there. Number 3 Tennessee, they beat UT Martin 65-24. Number 5, Clemson over number 14, Syracuse, 27-21. Clemson, they don't look that great. I mean, they're 8-0, and they're a top 5 team in the country, but they don't look fantastic. These teams in the ACC is a little better than it usually is. Wake Forest is actually decent. Syracuse, they're ranked 14th in the country. NC State's pretty good. But they needed 2 overtimes to beat Wake Forest. In the past, they would have blown them out of the water. A couple of years ago, ACC Championship, they beat Wake Forest, who was a ranked team. Beat them by 30-something. They barely beat Syracuse. Syracuse was up 21-10 at the half in this game. They barely beat Syracuse. NC State, they only squeaked by. They don't look like the Clemson of old. Boy, DJ Uiagalelei, their own quarterback, who's still a starter, I don't agree with that. He is not good at all. He's terrible. I thought when he played a game or two in place of Trevor Lawrence, in Trevor Lawrence's last year, when Lawrence missed a game or two, he had COVID and then maybe had an injury. I thought he's a kid who I thought he was going to bowl out last year and possibly be a possible NFL prospect. I was wrong. Good Lord, he is not good. Number 6 Alabama over number 24 Mississippi State, 30-6. We got an upset. LSU over number 7 Ole Miss, 45-20 in an upset. Number 8 TCU over number 17 Kansas State, 30-28. TCU looking real solid. They could win the Big 12 this year possibly. Number 10 Oregon over number 9 UCLA, 45-30. You had number 11 Oklahoma State over number 20 Texas, 41-34. Big 12 again, interesting. Looks like the top 2 are probably TCU and Oklahoma State. Number 13 Wake Forest over Boston College, 43-15. Number 16 Penn State over Minnesota, 45-17. Going back to Wake Forest, if they get Clemson in the ACC Championship game, that's going to be a good game. I think Wake Forest might have a shot in that game. Number 21, Cincinnati over SMU, 29-27. And number 25, Tulane over Memphis, 30-28. Those are your games from this past week. The rankings for this week for college football. Yeah, the college football playoff looks like right now the top 4. Georgia at 1, Ohio State at 2, Tennessee at 3, Michigan at 4, and you got Clemson at 5, Alabama at 6, TCU at 7, Oregon at 8. Oregon is now the top team in the Pac-12. TCU, best team in the Big 12. Oklahoma State at 9. You have a tied for 10 between USC and Wake Forest is creeping to the top 10. They're like 10-11, so it's tied for 10th. You know, take that from what if you will. Number 12, UCLA. Number 13 is Penn State. Number 14 is Utah. Number 15 is Ole Miss. Number 16 is Syracuse. Number 17 is Illinois. 18th is LSU. They get back into the top 25. 19th is Kentucky. 20th is Cincinnati. 21st is North Carolina. 22nd is Kansas State. Number 23 is Tulane. Tulane is ranked this year. North Carolina State is 24th, and South Carolina rounds it out at number 25. On to the NFL. Before I do game picks, gotta call out a couple of people. First off, let's go over some trades. Christian McCaffrey, of course, was traded to the Niners prior to Sunday's game. Panthers get back a second rounder, a third rounder, a fourth rounder, and a fifth rounder in 2024. Big move for the Niners. Very bold move, of course. When he's healthy, he's maybe the best back in the league. But he's always injured. They better hope he stays healthy. If not, that's going to be costly. For Carolina, on one hand, he hasn't had 1,000 yards in 3 years, and he got 4 picks for him. That being said, when he's healthy, like I said, maybe the best back in the league, when he's healthy, you got to get a first rounder for him. They didn't. So take it that way you will. As for who will mature, I think we'll have to wait and see if he stays healthy. See if the Niners can make a deep player from us here. They should win that division on paper. We'll see what happens. The Jets make a big move. They just have had some injuries. You lose your star rookie back, Breece Hall, torn ACL. I'm very upset about as a Jet fan. He was such a great young player. But they pick up James Robinson from the Jaguars for a 6th-round draft pick, which could become a 5th. Love the move. He's a real good young back. Now we once again now have 2 good young backs. We have Robinson, Michael Carr. Next year we'll have 3 guys. We'll have Breece Hall coming back. Then we can ease him back off the injury. Then we have Robinson and we have Carter. Love the move. Kudos to you, Joe Douglas. Nice move. Just some good 5-2. I'll get to them in a little bit. Yeah, that trade. I also got to call Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore, grow the hell up, dude. Grow up. I'm not getting target. Shut up. Really? Shut up. The team is winning. The Jets are winning for the first time since probably 2015. Didn't even make the playoffs. This team has not made the playoffs in 12 years. Having had a winning record in 7 years. Haven't been, not only won, been to the Super Bowl in 53 years. Have won the AFC East in God knows how long. Like, are you kidding me? Like, the team is winning. Be happy you're part of a winning team. Grow up. Requesting a trade? Requesting a trade? Are you kidding me? That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, Elijah Moore. Look, I love you, dude. As long as you're healthy, of course, you battled injuries last year. As long as you're healthy, you have a chance to be a stud and one of the best receivers in this league. You're a stud, dude. But do not mess it up. Come on, dude. Grow up. Rejoin the team. Practice. Go out and play. Do your thing. I know it's tough right now, but it's only going to get better. You're young. You're talented. You just got a young team. They maybe, just might be, possibly, finally, turn the corner. Be happy and grow up, dude. Come on. Also, Matt Ryan for the Colts. He has been benched. He is battling a shoulder injury. Will not practice this week. He's got a grade 2 separated shoulder. Probably wasn't going to play this week anyway. But Sam Ellinger, 6th-round pick 2 years ago out of Texas, he will start the rest of the year regardless. Ryan, although he has thrown for 2,000 yards, he has just 9 touchdowns against 9 picks. And he has fumbled 11 times. So he has really struggled this year. He's definitely washed. So he's been benched by the Colts. So recap for last week's games. Of course, on Thursday night, you had Cardinals over the Saints, 42-34. Dalton throws 3 picks, including 2 pick sixes. It was not double XP weekend, so Kyler was actually focused on the game. DeAndre Hopkins, 10 catches for 103 yards in his return from 6-game suspension. looking good as new. Ravens over the Browns, 23-20. They literally almost blew this game as well. They're up 20-7, and they almost blew that game. If the Browns didn't get called for a false start, people are complaining about it. I do believe it was the right call. If you look closely, the center adjusted the ball before he snapped it, which caused the Ravens to jump. You cannot do that. So I do believe it was the correct call, which pushed the 56-yarder back to a 61-yarder, and they missed. I do believe it was the right call. So the Ravens hang on there. They get to 4-3. Panthers over the Bucs, 21-3. What on earth? The Bucs look like garbage. Tom Brady is washed. They got a banged-up O-line. I don't know what's going on. You lose to the Panthers, who got an interim head coach, no defensive coordinator, just traded their two of their best players, their best player in McCaffrey, and then a few days prior to that, Robbie Anderson. They got players getting kicked out of the game. Robbie Anderson, they traded them. Their team is garbage. They got no quarterback. P.J. Walker, their third-string quarterback, is in. Their defense is awful. The play calling's awful. The O-line's awful. Probably the worst team in football. And you lose 21-3 to them. Yikes. Bucs look like trash. They're lucky they're in a crap division. Bengals over the Falcons, 35-17. Joe Burrow, my God. 481 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Good Lord. He went off. Cowboys over the Lions, 24-6. Dak Prescott, 19-30, 270 yards and a touchdown in his return. That Dallas defense, they are something else. They might be the best defense in the league. You see the Lions. Lions are the Lions. What can I say? They're on Hard Knocks. We all got excited. First couple of weeks, their offense looked explosive. Like, oh, they might make the playoffs, and they're 1-5. Lions going to be the Lions. By the way, Dan Campbell, not an NFL caliber coach. Great guy, really funny. Maybe could be a good tight ends coach like he's been in the past as an assistant coach. Not an NFL head coach. He just isn't. Giants over the Jaguars, 23-17. Giants are 6-1. Who would have thought? That is crazy, and that is nuts. Daniel Jones isn't letting the world on fire, but he's definitely playing better. Limiting his turnover. Saquon Barkley looks brand new. Their defense is excellent. Brian Dable, probably the coach of the year right now. But my kudos to Don Martindale as well, the defensive coordinator. He's also done a great job. I wonder if he'll get a head coach job next year. Jaguars, I don't know what the heck happened. First couple of weeks, they looked like they were turning the corner. Now, the last 2 weeks, they've struggled. I'm getting a little worried about Trevor Lawrence. I gave him a pass last year because of the Urban Meyer thing. Doug Peterson, I don't love either, but he's at least a average coach, mediocre coach at least. He has won a Super Bowl in the past. Trevor Lawrence, he's just too inconsistent. He's got to be more consistent for me. I'm sorry. He's got to be more consistent, less erratic with the football. He's got to do a little better. Commanders over the Packers, 23-21. The Packers look like crap. Okay, I know a lot of it, not all of it's Aaron Rodgers. The O-line is underperforming. They got Jenkins healthy, got Beckettee already healthy, and they're still struggling. His receiver core is awful. Randall Cobb is hurt. He's washed anyway. Christian Watson's hurt. He's garbage anyway. He's a human drop machine, second-round rookie. Sammy Watkins just got back. He's terrible. I do like Romeo Doe, but he's still a fifth-round rookie. Allen Lazard's okay. I like Tanyan. Their defense is underperforming for sure. It's been good, but should be a little better. Should be probably a top unit in the league. They've been much more mediocre than we thought. Matt LaFleur, his play call, I think, has been pretty subpar. They got two really good backs in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, and not a lot of receivers, and Aaron Rodgers is now 38. They should be a run-first team, and they're not running the ball as much as they should. But Rodgers has not played well enough. He looks pretty washed. That team is just lost. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, to be honest. Titans over the Colts, 19-10. So they remain in first place. Of course, Matt Ryan has now been benched, like I said. Raiders over the Texans, 38-20. The Texans, good lord, they are garbage. 1-4-1, yikes. Jets over the Broncos, 16-9. This is what I saw from that game. One, Jets offense, gotta be better. Zach Wilson, time to step up. I know they trade for James Robinson, but you lose Breece Hall. So I know the O-line's depleted. Alfie Nomakai Becton, Font's on the IR, his replacement. Max Mitchell is on IR. Now you lose Elijah Tucker, who's a stud. Usually our left guard. Been playing right tackle. He's done for the year. I know your O-line is horrible. It's really banged up. Now you lose Hall. But this week, now you have a really good run game. You still got, you bring in James Robinson, you got Michael Carter. Got some good young receivers, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. You got, Tucker Conklin at times play pretty well. Like, you were number 2 pick for a reason. You got to show it. Step up. And the Broncos, good lord, 2-5. Brett Rippon, I didn't see much of a difference between Brett Rippon and Russell Wilson. Brett Rippon basically played like Russell's been playing for like $244 million less. They are a double different. Nathaniel Hackett might be the worst coach in the league. He is egregious. Play calling is one of the worst things I've ever seen. And I watched Adam Gase coach my Jets for 2 straight freaking years. Russ looks washed. Their Pro Bowl left tackle Bowles is out for the year. Their top back Devontae Williams is out for the year. Now Mike Boone's out for the year. So now the only backs they have is Melvin Gordon, who clearly isn't happy there, and Latavius Murray, who's a backup. They got a bunch of injuries on defense. Though the defense is playing really well, but they got injuries on defense as well. They look lost around. They are complete crap. Broncos country, that ride is broken. Chiefs over Niners, 44-23. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's struggling. I don't think he's that good, to be honest. Chiefs rolling that one. Seahawks over the Chargers, 37-23. Geno Smith is playing really good football. Kudos to him. Chargers, more injuries. Their top corner, who they give a lot of money this offseason, J.C. Jackson, is out for the year with a dislocated kneecap, and their second receiver, Mike Williams, he's going to miss a few weeks with an ankle injury. A lot of injuries with the Chargers right now. Jason Jackson, at least he has not looked good either, probably because he's hurt. Dolphins over the Steelers, 16-10. Tua gets a win in his return. Sunday Football, Kenny Pickett, those 3 picks, he has looked terrible, Kenny Pickett. I know it's only 4 games, but I didn't even love him coming out of college. This guy, I thought, pocket passer, can't make a ton of plays with his legs. He's a little erratic, inconsistent, don't love the guy. He looks terrible. And Bears over the Patriots, 33-14 on Monday Night Football. The Bears ran it down the Patriots' throat. There was like quarterback controversy in New England. They started Mac Jones, came out of the gate, struggled. They put Barry Zay back in. He got to a good start, but then he ended up turning it over 3 times, and we did play pretty well outside of the turnovers. Belichick said that they plan to play both quarterbacks regardless, partly because of Mac Jones' injury. Did not name a starter for next week. I think it should be Zappy. I don't think Mac Jones is that good. He was decent last year, especially for a rookie. But this year has not been good. He's very boring. He's easy to figure out. That was my theory of him, and I think they might have figured him out. Billy Zappi, I think I like a little bit better. The offense has looked better with him. I would start Billy Zappi, to be honest. All right, those are my game picks. Those are the game results from this week for the NFL. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.